Yes. Um, I just I went to the library. Yes. In fact, I'm at the library. There's not a billionaire family that thought that they were going to take over the United States, did they? Somebody that important that you decided that you were going to take over the actual National Guard of any state of the United States. Yes. Now, I know there's a state in this encyclopedia called Washington State. Yes, George Washington. And as I understand it, there's a Washington, D.C. Oh, oh yes. There was this rumor going around that if the East Coast ever experienced some sort of calamity, that Washington State would be where the new White House would be built. Yes. And this was going to be the Queen State. Is that right? Yeah. The royal families. Oh. Well, as I understand it, there's Olympia remained the capital in 1889. Yes. Now, it became a state November 11th of 1889. Yes. And then a World's Fair was held in Seattle. Ooh, there's a Space Needle there. Is there a billionaire family that has control of the Space Needle? Because I had seen on the news that they did a renovation to it. Yes. Did you put any extra frequencies or electricity to it so that when you walk on that glass that they put there so you can see how far up it is? Yes. Why don't you just cap? I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to take that from you. Pooch. Now, there wasn't a billionaire family that thought that they could use the tallest structure in Washington state to influence the actual National Guard. Well, as I remember it, because I have been to Pike Place Market, yes. And as I have grown up in the state of Washington, I remember when Mount St. Helens erupted. Yes, I was swimming in Lake Tapps, but this happened on May 19th of 1980. Yes. Was there more than one eruption? Yeah. Could you get me the volcanic indicators? They're little boxes that you put on the actual, well, the the volcanoes that could go off that are actual mountains. Yes. Every time we get one of those little shocks, yeah, they're wireless apparatuses that broadcast from the tallest points throughout the mountain ranges of Washington State. Yeah. And then just find out exactly who's broadcasting from the Space Needle. Ooh. Uh-huh. Now, let's see here, mid 1990s, right. In 1962, the World's Fair, yes, 605-foot Space Needle Observation Tower remains as a year-round civic and tourist center. Yeah. And then there's Lake Washington. There was a certain somebody that built a very nice house there. I thought you had drilled underneath the water so that you could empty Lake Washington whenever you decided to. You just didn't want it there anymore. Pooh. There's not any top secret $100 million houses that I myself had worked on as a hod carrier. Yes, yes, yes. Where certain billionaire families said, well, we don't actually need building permits to build anything under Lake Washington. It's not a permittable location. You didn't put like something underneath Lake Washington. There's not a billionaire family right now. Ooh. As I remember it, I worked on your guest house. Yes. When I was going to Northwest University, not so far from Mercer Island. Yes. Where you decided you would make that very special home that I thought you were going to sell. A lot of very important families, as their children age, they get the empty nest syndrome. Yes. Yes. Now, how many people are going to buy $100 million homes that were paid for from the profitability of large software companies where you didn't build anything under? Well, now, it's difficult. Just a submersible. We can't get a full Titan submarine. You know, I thought for sure, okay, that there was a certain somebody that I had connected my sexual nerve endings to that was going to ask you to sell your home and donate the proceeds to her, yes, so she could give the money away. Now, there's Governor Gary Locke that used to be an ambassador to China. Yes. You know, the Chinese are not always the most hospitable. I had sent them an email to their actual Chinese legislature about a little $1 trillion lawsuit. How is Xi Jinping? It's Paul. Could you? I know you're upset. A lot of Chinese politicians, they wanted to do business in the United States, but we don't enforce the laws of the United States because of the very important people that do.